Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm going to talk about control. My journey with control has been, it's an old friend of mine. It's still there, by the way, but not quite so much as it was. So if we go right back to the period, well, I can't even really work out when it all started, me trying to control things. I think we start this journey with control at a very young age, probably. But I fundamentally became really aware of it in my career. So I was a primary school teacher, and I thought that my sense of worth, really, I suppose, came from my job. A lot of it. It came from lots of other things. But what I noticed in my job was this need, really, to move, to be promoted every couple of years. Well, every 4 years, I moved jobs to a promotion every single time. One of those, I actually moved. My first big promotion, I actually moved like not many months after I'd had my second child. So, it was always there, even when the moves were completely at the wrong, probably not a very helpful time. But I have deep compassion for myself, as I was back then, and know that I was doing the best I could. So that's when I kind of noticed it in that, but I noticed it in lots of other things. An interesting relationship with my ex-husband that involved me trying to control him and getting him to be different. That was extensive. As I rolled towards burnout, what I think happened was that there suddenly seemed to be a lot more things for me to control, because I was single again in that period just before burnout. And therefore, adding into the mix was my relationships with men, my online dating existence, and all of that. And of course, having to I'd always managed most of the things in the house, but it went to a new level on becoming single. So I was a single parent, took on a promotion, and was involved in lots of online dating all at the same time. Lots of things to try and control. And fundamentally, that need to control that we all have sometimes, and I still have now, comes from the same misunderstanding that underpins all human suffering, and that is the misunderstanding about where our feelings are actually coming from. If we think our well-being, how we feel, how we are emotionally, is coming from somebody's behaviour, some circumstance, or anything in the outside world, then it will look like the only way to feel okay is to try and control the outside world. And that's what I was doing, really. And that is what lots and lots of people are doing. I'm experiencing this at the moment from the other side, because I have a relationship at the moment where somebody is trying to control how I live my life. And I see in that person a deep level of fear, that how things are in our house they don't want them to be like that. And so they're angry and upset and use words like brainwashing and sabotaging and things like that about how we are. There's a child involved in this issue, so if that makes a little bit more sense to you. But it's just really, really interesting to see it from the other side and to realise the places where I'm doing it still, because we're never not doing it. I think we can do it less. We can start to see ourselves doing it a bit more. We can get more aware. So so that phase of ridiculous levels of control led to burnout. Now, when I came out the other side, I thought I'd sussed it. I thought I'd cracked it. And I see in my world of being in business and being around people who are also in business, I see this as being kind of the next stage of it, is that I sussed it because I thought, right, that I got the gist that the outside world wasn't really where it was at, my well-being. But then I thought, oh, what I need to do is control me, to control my feelings, my thoughts, my behaviors, to make myself be different on a almost on a moment to moment basis, to only be the way I want to be. Now that if you're in the middle of lots of self-development, lots of attempts to control yourself, then that will look like the most sensible thing to do. It will look really, really sensible to do that. Because I think what happens when we're doing that, we do have some moments where we feel we've just about cracked it and we just about feel okay, and we've grasped onto it for a moment and we think, oh, I feel amazing now. You've probably noticed that it doesn't last, and you have to keep going back to so let's say the tool is the gratitude journal or some other kind of journaling or some kind of spiritual practice or whatever it is. It seems like we have to keep going back to do it again and again. And that's the same as if you it's not the same, because fundamentally there are some things that are better for our physical form than others. But it's the same really as drinking a glass of wine to manage your feelings, or having some chocolate, or anything else you might do. If it looks like there's something to control, we will try to control it. But there's just what's not quite working for a lot of people about that is the understanding from which it is being done. So the first thing is, I believe that when we're looking to this kind of fix-it mentality for ourselves, because we've come away from the fix-it mentality about the outside world, then it's saying that there's something wrong with us, that there's something not working properly. And actually, that's the issue. The issue is that we're trying to control a system that is working fine without our interference. Because, and it is to do with how we feel. When we feel something that we don't like, that feels uncomfortable, we might well go, I have to control that. I need to go and meditate, or I've got to do something to tap it out, or whatever. I've got to try and get this feeling away. And all that needs to change is just how we see a feeling, a bodily sensation, how we see that, what we think that is. Because really, your feelings are a perfectly working guidance system telling you about your state of mind, nothing else. They're not telling you there's anything fundamentally wrong with you that needs fixing. They're telling you that right now, in the moment when you're feeling that uncomfortable feeling, let's take anxiety, for example, you're feeling a really horrible feeling, it's riled up, you've got angry butterflies, as one of my clients used to call them, there's a jitteriness, there's all of that. That's, you might not be able to breathe, your chest might feel tight, but that's your body telling you that your thinking is off right now. That's all, nothing else. It's as soon as we think that, it's the meaning making from the feeling that causes us to think we need to control it, because we think it means we're ill, we've got mental illness or something. We don't like the feeling because it is uncomfortable. Nobody wants to feel like that. But it is the dislike of the feeling that makes us think we've got to control it. And it's the meaning making that makes the problem, I think. If we if the doctor said, here's a syringe of adrenaline, I'm going to put it in you, you're going to have some reactions to that, and I'm going to do some tests while we're doing that. It's going to last about 20 minutes and then it'll be gone. You would just experience it in a much more neutral way. There wouldn't be all that thinking about it being wrong. So what we're doing when we're trying to control ourselves is we're kind of working against this system that's all the time trying to guide us. It's kind of nudging us, going, right, you've got an off feeling, your thinking's a bit off. What might make sense right now? From the place of understanding your thinking's off. Well, to me, it often makes sense to create a pause or have a rest or just step away from the situation, or, if it's a message, to put my phone down and give myself some space. It's knowing what this system is telling you that's so important, not trying to control it. So the difference is, instead of trying to control the system, we understand the system first. Then it might make sense to take some action. So if you're riled up and my thinking is really off at the moment, it makes sense for me to just sit quietly and listen to a guided meditation for 5 minutes. Brilliant. Brilliant. If it's coming from a place of understanding what's going on. If it's coming from a place of trying to manage your feelings, that's totally different. So I hope you found that helpful and interesting. And do let me know. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.